The candle flickered and spluttered. It had kept Mary Magdalene company through all the long, sleepless night. Sadly, she sat up in bed and hugged her knees. It was nearly light. Soon there would be another frightening day to get through without Jesus. It had been like that ever since they crucified him. She shivered, remembering the awful whipping of Jesus, and then him being dragged along the streets, and finally the pain of being nailed to the cross. It seemed that the darkness that covered the land when he died followed her, even in the daytime. Mary shuddered and held the blankets closer. I'm going, thought Mary. I'm going to his grave. At least she would be near him there. It was still quite dark as she fumbled her way through the old olive trees to where they'd buried Jesus. There's something wrong, said Mary to herself. What's happened to the grave? She was so scared. The great big stone covering the entrance had been rolled away. She could just see inside, and Jesus wasn't there. The Pharisees, thought Mary. The Pharisees have done it again. They've stolen the body of Jesus. She turned on her heels, and paying no heed to the scratching and clawing of the trees, ran back home to tell the others. Peter! John! She panted. They've stolen the body of Jesus. The grave's empty. Peter and John had never run so fast in all their lives. They raced through the empty streets of Jerusalem with their feet hardly touching the ground. Stumbling and gasping, they fell onto the entrance. Mary was right. They had stolen the body of Jesus. The garden filled with their sobbing and crying. What'll we do? What will we do without him? Cried Mary. Why have they left the grave clothes? Thought John. Worried and frightened, Peter and John went home, but Mary just stood there, staring broken-heartedly into the empty grave. Then she saw something she could hardly believe. There were two angels sitting where the body of Jesus had been. Why are you crying? They asked. Because they've taken away the body of Jesus and I don't know where, she sobbed. She turned round in despair, and there stood someone. Oh, gardener, she said, do you know where he is? Mary, whispered the man, smiling. Jesus, it's you, you're alive. And she was just about to hug him when Jesus said, Not now, Mary. There'll be plenty of time for hugging later on. Go quickly and tell my other friends what you've seen. Jesus fanned the flames of the little fire and slowly piled pieces of dry wood on the bright embers. When all the smoke had gone and the wood was glowing, he laid some fish and bread on top to cook. It was going to be a surprise breakfast for the hungry, cold fishermen. Jesus stood at the edge of the water. Out there on the dull grey sea, 7 disciples bobbed up and down in their little boat. Jesus called out, Caught anything, lads? No, Peter called back to the man on the shore. We've been at it all night long, not a bite. Cast your nets on the other side, commanded Jesus. There's some there. They changed their nets around and caught so many fish they couldn't lift the net. We'll have to tow it behind, laughed Peter. John lowered his eyes. Peter, wait a minute, these fish, they'll break the net. Peter, it's Jesus. Peter looked, and his eyes opened wider and wider. Jesus, he yelled, and he dragged on his coat and jumped into the water. Jesus, I should have known it was you. Jesus reached out with his arms. Come on, I've cooked some breakfast for you all, and there's a good fire to warm you. He really is alive, whispered John to Peter. Of course he is, said Peter.